What's good people? Vets, let's talk, man. Hope you guys are good out there. Hope y'all having a good week. Hope y'all having a good day, man. Hope y'all have a great week, man. Hey, check me out, man. Hey, before we get started, I like you guys to click that like, share, and subscribe. HBO special. Help a brother out, man. Hey, man, renaming of the bases, man. Very controversial topic amongst a lot of people, a lot of frustration out there with people. I'm gonna share my screen with you guys who watch this video. I really like to know what you guys think about this name changing.
Army post in Central Texas, named after a Confederate general, has been known as Fort Hood since it opened nearly 75 years ago. Oh, but soon its name will change, and it'll change to honor a Latino general. Now, in nearby Killeen, this is the talk of the town. And tonight, our Scott Gordon takes us there to sample reaction.
With about 40,000 soldiers, Fort Hood is the largest Army post in the country and has a proud history. But its future is about to change. Fort Hood is named after John Bell Hood, a Confederate general. The military is renaming Fort Hood and 8 other bases across the country to commemorate the Confederacy. At Killeen's Army Legion Post 223, veterans don't agree with the change.
I think it's ridiculous.
Lee Binkley served 27 years in the Air Force.
The thing is, history's history. You can't change history. All you're going to do is blindfold it. That's all they're doing.
Army vet John Saiz agrees.
Why the change? I don't know. I don't understand it. Why are they trying? What are they trying to change?
I support the renaming of Fort Hood.
Killeen Mayor Debbie Nash King, a veteran herself, says it's about time.
Right. I don't think you can ever erase history, but the climate that we are in today, the renaming of Fort Hood, the morale on Fort Hood, and also within the community and the nation, it's time for a change from my perspective.
Fort Hood's new name will be Fort Cavazos, after Texas-born Richard Cavazos, the Army's first Hispanic 4-star general who once commanded Fort Hood. Cavazos retired in 1984 and died in 2017. He's buried at Fort Sam Houston National Cemetery.
There was never a lot of people saying change the name.
Former mayor and Army veteran Jose Segarra has mixed feelings. He's proud Cavazos will get the honor and is ready to move on, but adds,
if I had a choice to say leave it at Fort Hood, I would have picked leave it at Fort Hood, because now, it's like I was stationed at Fort Hood. That's part of my history. General Fort Hood had nothing to do with.
One thing everyone around here agrees on, Fort Cavazos will take a long time to stick, and old-timers will still call this Fort Hood for years to come.
Yeah, that's right.
For veterans and locals alike, it'll take a real effort to call Fort Hood Fort Cavazos. In Killeen, Scott Gordon, NBC5.
Now, this is supposed to take place in 2024, by 2024. Renaming Army bases named after Confederate leaders cost $21 million. Now, do you think those funds could be allocated in different places? Like, just a question. Like sexual assault, more sexual assault classes. If it ain't yours, don't take it. Like more leadership classes. Like, strengthening the soldiers' minds, like mental health. Not to say all these homeless veterans out here. More job training. I know a lot of that has to do with the soldier per se and where their mind is, but a lot of soldiers out here feel like they have no help. That's just what it is. I don't think money will necessarily help that, but mental health is probably a big part of that. But at the same time, I think a lot of this money can go into different places. Like, it's so much going on in the ranks in the military, for say, period. Like, where do you think this money can go? Now, there's a lot of people talking about leaving their military careers because of this name change. They're going to upset your life because of their changing the name of a base. It's just a name. Just like the first young man said, he looked to be about 18, right? Just like the first young man said, you can't erase history. What has been done is done. What would the name change do but to satisfy somebody's personality? That's just satisfying somebody's ego. I'm neither for it nor against it. I'm neither for or against it. Because I honestly didn't know who this individual was until sometime last year. Because they brought up the name change, I think it was last year or a couple of years ago. Last year, I looked into it to see who this guy was. And that's who I found. A lot of people that I talked to did not actually know who this individual was. And then it was like, yeah, they should change it. So are we catering towards people's feelings on the matter of that? Like, just a question. I'm not saying I'm for it. It's just a question. Don't Kanye me. Hey, it's just a question, man. But a lot of people are talking about leaving their careers just because of their changing the name of the base. So you're going to upset your life for this. Like, why? Why? Your feelings are so much mixed into this, so you have to uproot you and your family and start a whole new life. How would that look for you? Like, why did you leave the army? Well, you know, they changed the name of, then they starts thinking a certain way about you. This doesn't change the fact of the things that's actually happening in the military as far as racism. Like, they just had this kid. Forgot the last name Miller. He joined the military. I did a video about it. He joined the military to kill black people. And it's a lot of individuals, racist, you know, a lot of it is indirect and non-direct. And a lot of the times you can tell a lot of these cliques are formed and you know, it's not going to change that. You can't change that. You can change the name all you want. So some of that money be put towards classes like that, diversifying. Hey, it's just a question. Just a question. What do you think can be done? Hey, man, I got a quote from Barack Obama. Change will not come if we wait for some other person or some other time. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the change that we seek. A lot of the times we look for name change and things, places, people in order for things to change. Most of the time, not even most, I'm going to say all of the time, it's always the individual that you look at in the mirror. We are the change. Only person that can change certain things is us. The racist individual, our thought process on a lot of the things that we think. History would never go away. But a lot of individuals being brought up in these small towns, thinking of different races based upon the things that they see on TV. Diversified. The parents telling the kids, like, this is not really what this race is like. Like, this just you. It starts with you. It will always start with change, will always start with you. It will never start with a name change. It will always start with you. You, the individual, because that's how it all started. It didn't start with the name. It started with the individual and that person's upbringing, which is the environment in which that person was brought up in. How can we change that? That's a question. I think I asked that question before on that video I did. What do you guys think about the name change? Do you think it's worth losing your career or just quitting? Do you think it's worth it? Do you think this is catering towards somebody's feelings? Like, people are hurt about this individual being in, like, the name being placed up there? Like I said earlier in this video, I didn't know who the cat was until sometime last year, until I started doing some research, and then I learned. But I'm neither for it nor against it. I'm neither for it nor against it. I don't stand racism. It needs to go away. Is it going to go away anytime soon? Probably not. Like the one gentleman said, it's going to take some time for people to get used to it not being called Fort Hood because it's history to them. That is history to a lot of people. Yeah, I joined the Fort Hood, and when an individual looks at you, what's that? It's like them changing the name of the Sears Tower. I forgot the name of it because I still call it the Sears Tower because it's been the Sears in Chicago. Sears Tower. It's been the Sears Tower for so long since I've been born, but they changed it. I think 2010 or something like that. I could be wrong, but they did change the name. I still call it the Sears Tower. And a lot of people correct me on it, but I just say, okay, Sears Tower. Just like Fort Hood, even though they changed the name, it will still be Fort Hood to me because that is the name that I served at, Fort Hood. Hey, man, let's talk, man. Hope you guys enjoyed this. I would like to hear some comments on the matter. Who's up next for formation?